About 10 months ago, I posted a video about my fear of dying on this channel. At the time, it was honestly such a scary emotion and it was so intense that I constantly throughout the day would be so scared that either myself or somebody that I love would just pass away all of a sudden. When I posted that video, it would have been about 6 months that my mom suddenly passed away. So while some of us may think that it is totally abnormal to have this constant fear of dying, it is actually a completely normal reaction to what has happened in our lives. So now, 1.5 years later, let me give you an update on this feeling. It has definitely calmed down by so much. I really can tell you that from what I have experienced, this is the strongest in the beginning, and then slowly but steady it calms down more and more. What I had very particular, and I'm not sure exactly why, because this is not what happened to my mom, is falling downstairs. So I kid you not, every time I would walk downstairs, I would be so scared that at any second I would slip and then somehow hit my head really badly, and that would just be it. As if there was no sense of balance or anything, as if there was no chance to possibly save myself within this fall, but it was actually frightening me to do it in the first place. So I would be walking down the stairs like a 2-year toddler, literally holding on to the rail just so that I don't slip. And in case of my other loved ones, I would just constantly have this fear that I would get that call that somebody would tell me, all right, this person has passed away, which is again completely normal, because the phone call that I got about my mom, it was at such a normal time where I would literally just sit at home on a Friday night and all of a sudden you get that call. So it's quite plausible that after that you are going to develop this fear of, oh my goodness, this is going to happen again. The other fear that I also had, which wasn't as strong as I had it with the stairs, but that it would literally happen to me exactly the way it happened to my mom. She was literally standing in her kitchen making lunch and then she just fell over. That was it. So again, it's very highly likely that if you have a fear of dying and you have lost somebody, especially in a very traumatic or a very different way than just dying of old age, that you start to develop a fear like that. So let's say somebody that you love deeply has passed away from cancer. Now, it's very understandable that after that, you could potentially develop this fear of getting cancer yourself, because it is something that was so close to you and because it was something that traumatized you so much. I want to say one very important thing, because at the time that I did have those feelings, yes, I realized that it was somewhat normal, but I also thought that I was somewhat crazy because of this intense fear. Like, it wasn't just a little bit. When I'm telling you I was scared of dying every day, I really mean that. And those feelings were quite overwhelming and quite emotional. And it's also not something that you just talk about with random people, or let's say any of your friends or family members, because what are they going to respond to that? It's like most of the topics that have to do with grief, it's such a taboo topic, so it's not really talked about. So you kind of just have to eat it up. And I feel like that almost makes it worse. So if you are watching this and you are scared of dying, then first of all, I want you to know that that is totally okay and totally normal. The other thing is that while it took me about 1.5 years to normalize this feeling, and like I said, now it's not there anymore at all, that does not mean that it's going to be that exact time frame for you. It may take longer, it may be a little bit shorter. You may not have this feeling at all after somebody that you loved has passed away, and that is amazing. I really do hope that for you. But if you are watching this video already, then I'm highly assuming you are feeling those emotions as well. If you are somebody who has experienced this fear, then please do let me know in the comments, because I would love to hear other thoughts and feelings about this, and what were those fears exactly? What type of death were you fearing? It sounds so silly when you talk about it like that, but I think it's so important that we just normalize this and talk about it and get it out. So what exactly were you scared of? What type of death? And is there a chance that you know what this may be related to? How long did it last for you? Maybe you're in the very beginning still. Then I'm hoping that you're watching this video and it does give you a little bit of hope that it will calm down after a little while. But I would honestly love to hear your thoughts in the comments. So don't hesitate, don't feel embarrassed, because believe me, whatever you have gone through, I probably have been there, have worked through it in some way, and have probably felt ashamed about it. So this is a total safe space. Another very crucial thing is that you don't let this fear get in your way of your day-to-day life, because I know how strong it can get, and I know it could possibly lead to you not doing things that you would normally do just because you are so scared. So let's say somebody you love died in a car accident, and now you're so scared that you don't want to get in a car anymore. Please, 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 in that case, go and see somebody who can actually help you to deal with this, because it's simply not a solution to stop living our lives in a way that we would normally live them just because of fear. Generally speaking, we know that is never a good idea, but I think especially with something like this, because it is so strong and it can intensify very quickly. And you don't not want to get in a car for the rest of your life just because somebody that you love has passed away in a car. Because if you think about it, then we could really not even leave the house anymore at that stage, because everything has happened to some people at some point in their lives. There are so many ways of dying. And if we now are living in this fear that, oh my goodness, something is going to happen all the time, you are really going to block yourself from living life the way you deserve to live it, and from living life just in a normal and healthy and happy way. And I want to end this video with a beautiful quote by Mark Twain that I read, and I just thought, wow, this is so incredibly true. And it's basically just summing up everything that we've talked about in this video. Fear of death is followed by the fear of life. And that is something that we really want to avoid. I know that you're scared, and I was too, but I promise you that life can be still so incredibly beautiful, and we don't want our fear to get in the way of that. And if you need more advice on how to actually overcome this fear, then watch that video that I posted 10 months ago, because it gives more practical ways of how I overcame this fear.